Good morning from Portugal. I hope you are well. So today is the 10th of March and this is the morning reflection or daily reflection. And today I was thinking we're going to look at the question, how do I shift out of not doing what is required? So we have been guided to start to take the steps to change the direction of our lives. So we have moved into a new cycle, but we need to move into it fully. So often we know what we need to do and we don't do it. And it's so easy to be distracted by the things going on in our world and by social media and by all these kind of things, and we just keep on sort of wasting our hours away. So this question this morning is to how to shift out of not doing what is required and what is required for us to move forward into the life that we want, the life we want to create. Okay, so we are starting by grounding ourselves into Mother Earth and connecting to Father Heaven above. So connect to the earth below if you're sitting down, or if you're standing up, or if you're lying down, but you just feel the weight of the connection to the surface below, and then feel that tree roots are growing from the soles of your feet, connecting into Mother Earth deep below. And as you are breathing in, the spine rises towards the sky, into the base of the skull, causing the chin to tip inwards a little bit, right? This is correcting our posture. And as you breathe out, you relax and becoming more and more heavy into the seat below or into your feet. You feel how you're becoming more heavy, but your spine does not collapse. As I breathe in, spine rises. And breathe out, relax. And this creates a micro movement in your spine. Just a micro movement, not a great movement, but as you breathe in into the stomach, feeling the stomach expand all the way around, and then the spine rises in a microwave movement up into the base of your skull. And as you breathe out, you relax. And breathe in, rising, or breathe out, relax. But this is just micro movements, and we're never collapsing at any point. The spine remains rising towards the sky. And then keep your focus on the stomach, expanding with the breath in and contracting with the breath out. And keep your focus at the point. 2 fingers below the navel and 3 fingers inside. And this is a little energy center called the lower dantian. As you breathe in, it expands, and as you breathe out, it contracts. So that should have brought us into the present moment, feeling relaxed and present. So let's look at the reading. How do I shift out of not doing what is required? So heaven, and that's lake metal below, which is doing, and it looks like this. 1 yin line resting on 2 yang. So let's find out about the outer guard. So that was the inner. How do I shift out of not doing what is required? Heaven, earth, fire, water, thunder, wind, wood, mountain, lake. So we got mountain, which is stillness. again. Without. So let's find out what is changing. So we got the first initial 9, second 9, third 6, fourth 6. Fourth 6 is changing into a yang. So that leads us into yang, yang, yin. And then yang, yin, yang. So cutting away clarity to illuminate, to see clearly. Okay, so we've got Li above and lake below. And let's see at the nucleus. So yang, yin, yin, yang, yin, yin, thunder. Yin, 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 and kun. Kun over 10. So that's earth over thunder. So there's a rumbling underneath the earth, which is nourishing. So the main energy today is stillness over joy. Right, mountain is stillness, dui, lake, dui, pardon my pronunciation, is lake. And that's joy. It's so, but we're being asked to do right now is to cultivate this inner stillness, this solid inner stillness. So to cultivate that in order so we can radiate joy outwards. And true joy comes from within, right? If we are still and stable and in harmony within ourselves, there's nothing that can affect, nothing from outside can affect our joy, right? We can continue to spread joy in the world. That comes from absolute stillness within. Absolutely solid center to cultivate joy. And mountain is speaking about stillness. A mountain is still, right? So we've got the stillness without. So we're remaining still. So let's have a look at the hexagram, see which ones we actually have. We've got Gen and Doi, which is 41, which is the main. Let's double check that again. 41, and then that's moving in the moving into the changing line is here, number 4, and then so we're moving into Li, which is fire over lake. 38. So that's also this stillness, this joy that we radiate is actually leading to clarity. And this stillness, in order to be able to see, we need to have stillness. We need to turn off all the distractions, and create stillness in our surroundings, create stillness without, in order for us to cultivate this inner center, this harmonious, joyous center, right? So this is what we're being guided to do. And then with that, we are going to be able to see clearly, And then let's have a look at the underlying energies here that are affecting the situation. So we've got Kun and Chen, which is there, 24. And that is returning, I'm quite sure. So let's have a look at 41. I just open it here, decreasing. Very strong energy there. My hand there. Open it. So I really wanted to pop out, I think. Sun. And it's the earth element. Earth, yeah, it's nourishing, responding. We're being taught, we've had a lot of earth in the readings, right, this last month or so. But we have some fire here, diversity, and then that's fire, and then 24. So coming into a little bit more of a fire energy. Let's see what the underlying energy is here. So turning back here, returning. Turning back. And that is earth. Earth energy. Yeah, so it's kun above the Jen. So let's have a look at the main energy here now, a little bit more depth. Decreasing. Relieving continues in excess. Relieving continues to excess. Surely something is to be lost. Thus, after relief, decreasing follows. So we are being guided to decrease, to remove, to decrease, not so grand actions, okay? This has been the general guidance. Decreasing, being sincere and truthful, supreme good fortune, no fault, appropriate to be steadfast and upright, favorable to have somewhere to go. How is it to be used? 2 bamboo trays can be used for offering. Yeah, okay. So stay truthfully you, right? Sincere and truthful. But we should always be sincere and truthful. There's only been a very rare occasion if we really need to, for like life and death, or, you know, to make something better, that we should not be sincere and truthful. Maybe sometimes we can't be, you know, because we will create more trouble. But then usually then that's better to stay silent instead, right, rather than outright lie. So sincere and truthful, supreme good fortune, no fault, okay? And we're being guided to remain truthfully us, right? Appropriate to be steadfast and upright. And this is, yes, speak about that. Yeah, remain us, like we're going to remain us like the mountain. It does not change because of the weather or something. The mountain remains the mountain, right? Or it does change over the years, but over thousands of years, right? It takes a long time, very slow change to a mountain. So how is it to be used? 2 bamboo trays can be used for offering. So in the olden days, what this means that I think they used 8 bamboo trays for offerings, to put different offerings on, you know, before they were going out on a venture or doing something. They used to go to the temple and make offerings, right? And they used to use 8 bamboo trays, you know, in order to do great offerings. But they're saying here, it's not necessary. 2 bamboo trays, whatever you have, like, and this is your sincerity and your truthfulness and who you are, your intention, like your loving heart, your virtue. This is what you can offer. Like, this is what you're offering out to the world, right? And this is enough if you do it, right? When we keep on being distracted and drawn into things that are just not beneficial to us, it's just wasting our, you know, spending our time, right? We do so many things which is just keeping us engaged, or not engaged, but occupied. Not, what's the word I'm looking for? It's entertained. It's not even the word either, but you understand what I mean. It's something that keeps us activated, but it has no depth to it, right? It's just making our time go. And then this time that we could have spent on actually cultivating our next step, and then taking our next steps and moving into this new creation that we want to create, and moving out of, leaving what's behind, right? So we need to remove all the distractions, decrease the distractions, and increase then. And then if we decrease the distractions, then we can increase the time that we got to spend on this new creation, to create the life we want, that our soul is calling out for. Decreasing, to decrease what is lower, is to increase what is above. The way is to benefit the above. Yes. Decrease what is lower, which is all the distractions and things that are meaningless, right? It has no long-term purpose. It doesn't create anything. It just keeps us distracted. But then in order to do that, we can increase what is beneficial for us. So let's have a look at the changing line. It's the fourth 6. So let's have a look at this is the exact where we are in this. Decrease one's ailment, hasten to help. There is rejoicing, no fault. Decrease one's ailment, it is indeed worthy of joy. Yeah, decrease one's ailments, all our distractions, all these kind of things that are unhealthy for us. Like watching social media all the time is really bad for our minds. Like the human race is having shorter and shorter attention span, is because we need this entertainment all the time, because we're being fed this entertainment. And this is how we are training our brains. It's like a drug, right? So we need to decrease that in order to increase the joy, right, that we can share with the world. So let's read a little bit more of this. Fourth, 6. Oh, there we go, 4th, 6th. The Yao text says, decrease one's ailment, recommending a mitigation of one's shortcomings. Yes. The 4th line is a yin element at the yang place, surrounded by 2 yin elements above and below. There is too much yin and then thus there is shortcoming. One at this place corresponds to the yang element on the bottom. She relies on the help of one at the bottom, who is strong and firm. When she obtains help and support, her ailments is alleviated. This line tells us that a true friend is beneficial and important in helping diminishing one's shortcoming. Okay, so it's actually guiding us to take help if we cannot get out of whatever addiction we have, right? Whatever is sort of taking over our life, so stopping us from doing what we actually see, what is required. What is it that you do that stops you from doing what is required? What is your distraction, right? And then it's actually speaking about get help if needed, right? Because we need to shift out of the last few days has been talking about initiating, like take the first steps. It's time to make a move now, right? Because we are in this new cycle, but we are dawdling, and that's not good. Okay, so let's have a look at the diversity 38. So this is what's coming up, what's changing into if we are following this advice, right? When the proper way of a household comes to an end, there's surely diversity. Thus, after household, diversity follows. So opposite in the book, adopted. So the image here is showing like this two hands, and you can see them here, and they're sort of this back of the hands are towards each other, and then here's an arrow, and there's a person, I think, shooting an arrow in between the hands. It's like diversity, so it's like separating, and here's an eye to the side, so we're not seeing eye to eye. We're not seeing clearly. This light is speaking here. The Li, which is brilliance, like the fire which lights up, is speaking about that we need to make sure that we see clearly. And we're not maybe seeing clearly here already, and we're not doing, because we're not looking correctly, because we're not seeing clearly. We're not doing the correct things. Okay. So this leads to obstruction, which this is the blockage you may feel. that they're not moving forward. This stops you from moving forward in the correct way, right? In the way that you need to, the way is required. Diversity, little things, good fortune. So we are being guided that right now there is no time to, as we're moving in here, actually, as we are decreasing our distractions, our addictions, or whatever it is, right, that stops us from doing that, we are being guided to take little steps, right? We start by taking little steps. So we're not doing any grand plans, because those can really make us trip and fall. We think, oh, I've got to do all this, blah, blah, blah. You know, I've got this whole thing. And even that can make us feel overwhelmed, right? And stops us from doing things. And this might be what you're feeling here as well, overwhelms. You need to decrease that, and decrease that by starting to take little steps. Just, you don't even have to think that far forward, right? You just know, okay, so I need to, say you want to buy a house, right? And you need to save up for this house. And then maybe you don't have, and you feel like it's overwhelmed by it because it's going to cost so much, and you believe it's never going to happen, right? But then you start by little steps. So maybe if you just put in 10 euros every month, or if you 50 euros every month into a savings account, you start that. That's a small step, but that's like, it's going to take a long time, right, to get to the amount you want, but that's the first little step. And that means that you've taken the little step. And then when you start doing that, then you can think about how you can expand this and how you can make this more efficient. Can you put in more money or whatever? But you've started with the little step, right? So it doesn't become like, oh, I can never buy this house because I need so much money, right? Because you've taken the little steps. And this goes with everything that we do, like, and especially when we get overwhelmed because we've got this great dream that we want and it just seems so far away, and then the overwhelm stops us from doing anything. But if we start taking little steps, then we will make slow progress in the beginning. And it's almost like a car. Like a car doesn't go from 0 to 100 immediately. It starts and then it goes, you know, faster, right? That's what we're being guided to do. So let's just read the commentary on the symbol. Fire above, lake below, an image of diversity. In correspondence with this, the superior person seeks common ground on major issues, while serving differences on minor ones. This one, we actually had this one, diversity, yesterday, I think. Diversity, yeah, was the underlying energy. And we're still, as well, don't get into conflict. It's we are decreasing. That means that we're decreasing even our presence, right? We are, we're not putting, we're not going out to fighting for, our beliefs at the moment. We are trying to seek common ground, and that's the way to move forward. Doesn't mean that we are letting go of what we believe or what we want to work for, but we just, in seeking common ground, we won't get into conflict immediately, right? And then we can sort of take the next steps from there and find the way, forward, slowly, rather than just not going anywhere because we just end up being in conflict. So 24, returning is the underlying energy, and actually I'm not even turning back, which is returning. So 3 steps here going back. It's speaking about we need to return to ourselves, to our inner center. We need to return, and actually this is what's feeding all this, right? We need to nourish ourselves. We need to return to ourselves, to go within. So, and again, back to the distractions, we need to turn off all the noise. We need to go back into silence and then listen to our soul, what it's trying to tell us. And from, this silence and this stillness of the mountain, and this silence and the nourishment we get from returning to our origin, which is heaven and earth, right? And all the energies of that. But returning to our origin, from there we can get clarity. And we get peace of mind as well. And clarity, from there we can take steps coming out of wisdom, right? Little steps. Anyway, that was the reading for today. I hope it was of benefit, and I'm wishing you a beautiful day ahead.